Now, this topic's a little bit lighter than the previous episode, isn't it?
It certainly is.
I think we have to make it a little bit lighter for our own mental state because we unpacked a little bit of trauma in the last episode. We had to both have a
Well,
lay
this,
down.
yeah, this episode's good. It's about food, which I absolutely love cooking. So I think, well, let's talk about a little bit of food for a while.
Oh, that sounds like a pleasant change. Now, I think this story, it's your story. However, even before we joined our businesses together and became business partners, I would tell this story to my clients because I think I think the way that you tell the story is really amazing, but it really teaches a really important lesson and packs a huge punch. And it's something that we overlook, and it's something that you can implement and change like that in your business. So I'm going to do my absolute best to keep my mouth shut in this episode and let you take the reins, which is one of my challenges. But over to you, Marie. What when people read the title of this episode, they'll be thinking garlic bread. Like, what the hell? Do I need to buy an air
Mm.
fryer for my salon and start to sell garlic bread like a lemonade stand? So what the hell is this garlic bread topic all about?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think, excuse me, I think one of the things that um, comes up more than anything is we have these skyscraper goals, like big picture, but we've got the shaky fundamental foundations. And the problem in our business, when I learnt this off a client actually about garlic bread, is I had to start to think about what's my garlic bread? And I want you to walk away from listening today and go, I need to find out my garlic bread. And you know what? If you've heard this before, you need to measure it better. You need to look at it more. You need to think about what else can you do, because we've all got a garlic bread in our business. It doesn't matter what the business is,
Mm.
right?
So,
So,
what the hell do you mean? What are you talking about,
so,
woman?
so I used to have a client. Let's call her Philippa, and she used to come in for a facial. She was there every couple of weeks, and one week she'd have one, a fortnight she'd have one thing done, another. And every time she would come in, I'd always notice her cars. She'd always have, I'd think, oh, that's a bit fancy. Some I didn't even know what they were. She had, her husband would drop her off, and probably over time, I didn't take that much notice, but then I started to think, she's got a lot of cars. Like there was so many. And
Drug
so one day
money.
I said, well, I didn't know what it was, but I said to her one day, um, Philippa, you have a lot of cars. And I'd said hello to her first, and she said, I do. And she was the type of client that, she was an older client, and she was the type of client that would tell me what to do in the facial. So it would be like, have you exfoliated? Are you up to the second cleanse? And it was like, yes, 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 like you. And it was almost like, did she ever relax? She was that type of client.
Mm.
And all retired, her and her husband. And this particular day when I asked her, what, we have got a lot of cars. And she said, I'll tell you in the room. I thought, okay, I just want you to relax, but tell me in the room. And we got up there and I'd start the treatment, and I would have been doing, say, the cleanse. And she said, oh, about the car. She said, it's all about garlic bread. And I said, oh, okay. And I thought, she okay? So a little while on, because she'd ask all the time what part of this facial we're up to. And in between, she'd tell the story. She said, you know how we're restaurateurs? Well, we were in our past life. We're retired now. She said, we had restaurants everywhere. And I said, yes. She said, we used to sell a garlic bread. And I said, okay. And she said, we'd get the garlic bread. And if anyone's watching or listening, you'd remember years ago to have garlic bread at often like a pizza shop or maybe at the pub, and it would be wrapped in foil in a long basket and put on the table. She used to say
Mm.
every time we sold one of those long garlic breads in the basket, the client or the customer would pay $2. And she said we would get the $2 and we would put it under the front counter, and we did that in multiple locations. And I said, oh, okay then. And I thought, right. how's this even related to her cars? Like, it didn't even make sense to me at the time. And I just let her keep going. You'd never interrupt Philippa because she's the one that control the
Mm.
appointment almost. Um, and she said to me this day, she said, I said, but I don't understand the car thing. How does that relate to it? And she said, let me finish. She said, at the end of the day, we would count the garlic bread money every restaurant, every night, and that money every year would buy us a new car. And I was like, really? And
How's
then I
that add
started
up?
to,
Yeah.
I know, and you'd start to do the maths on it. But I suppose if you think about, a restaurant on a Saturday night or a Friday night, it'd be pumping. And if you think about, a restaurant maybe on a Monday, I don't know what days they open, but probably back in the day, they'd open every day and maybe not a Sunday. And they would open and every restaurant would sell garlic bread. So that garlic bread would give them enough money to buy a new car. She said, sometimes we bought two in a year. I'm like,
Wow.
wow, okay. And she said, my husband loves them. So she said, he's kept so many. She said, we've sold so many cars and bought so many cars over the years, but we would pay cash for the car with the garlic bread money. And I thought, gee, how could salons put this into their business? How could I do this in my business? So we started to think about the services we would have in the salon, so in the beauty side of the business, and the services we would have in the hair side of the business that we could implement and add to our client service that would not only wow them, that would keep the journey going, but it would be an enhancement that they would say, wow, that was so good. So it's the little things, if you think about it, when you're at a restaurant, if you think about the little things that people do when you have an experience at a business, that you go back to that business. It's, someone might say your hair salon's amazing, but they always talk about the coffee or they always talk about the cocktail you served. It's you do hair or beauty, you don't do cocktails. So it's the little touches that made the difference. So we started to make a menu up in our business that was actually for my salon. It was right. We had it painted in like a whole wall painted with the enhancements you could have at the
Ah,
salon.
wow, clever.
Yeah, so it was while you're here, treat yourself too. So what that did is if the stylist wasn't talking about it, the clients would ask about it because it was painted like literally on the wall, and we had someone actually put it on. It was like a chalkboard, and then in the beauty rooms we would have a clear plastic frame that would go on every bed with the insert in it with all the enhance that you could have, all the add-ons that you could have, and a choice of. And every single team member would have what I would say pushback. I don't have time. And so we would say, well, book it in next time. So if you talk to the client about it, book it in next time. And how one of the ways that we grew the salon and grew the business was through these add-on or enhancements, just like the garlic bread in Philippa's business. And think about her $2. Well, our add-ons and enhancements, like what do we charge, Jay, when we think about enhancements and add-ons in a
Look, it
business?
depends. Like, if you were to say a skin clinic, for an example,
Mm,
it'd be things like a jelly mask,
mm,
or it would be a scalp massage. That was one thing. After I learnt this lesson from you, I had a client in Dalesford, Spa Country, and they did a lot of massage. And
yeah.
when you have a lot of tourists, the scope to be able to rebook is very low, and the potential to retail to a massage client is notoriously challenging. Whereas they implemented just a simple little treatment enhancement menu, and
Mm,
it was something like a foot scrub,
mm,
an Indian head massage, or like hot stone, and they were all the same price. So let's say it was $30. And I
yeah.
remember this particular spa owner calling me at the end of the week, and she said something crazy like 8 out of 10 massagers said, yes, please, I'll have that. I'll have the head massage. I'll have the
Mm,
hot stone. And
yeah.
like, what an amazing opportunity that was overlooked. Yeah. But and I think for hairdressing salons, it's not the big ticket items. It's and that's what this episode is not about. It's not about skin needling. It's not about HIFU. It's not about hair extensions. It's not about those big ticket items. It's the little things that make a huge difference. Like in a hair salon, it's a scalp. It's a scalp massage for 5 minutes and a hydration treatment. It's not your
Yeah.
bonding services. It's the
No.
$15, $20 services that make the huge difference. So
Yeah.
I can't even
Absolutely.
remember what your question was, but I think
Yeah,
what's
like the
on
garlic
everyone's
breads. Like,
lips.
yeah,
Did
what
you
are
end up
they?
buying a Lamborghini with your upgrade money? Is that are you the same
No,
as
but
Philippa?
no, it wasn't the same. It wasn't actually the choice that I made to do. It was probably at the time it would have been to pay the bills and pay the debt and pay the. But I think the generalization of it is what we ended up doing is we would have it's more of a low ticket item. So if you think of
Yeah,
garlic bread, it's not like the dearest thing on the menu. So and like you just said, Jay, like it pick things. So for instance, if it's hair, you can have treatments. It might be 3 levels of treatments, which we had. Interesting enough, it's like a quote. You get a quote on concrete. Most people don't go for the dear one or the cheap one, they go in the middle, and that's what we
yeah.
aim to do. Was not to do the $15 treatment or the $20 treatment. It was to get everyone to have the $33 treatment. It was, the $50 one some people would have because they'd want a premium treatment, but we would have that set up so that the clients could have a choice. Same in skin, same in beauty. Like didn't matter which beauty room you went in, there was options to choose something. So if we think about how that changed my business, I think that's probably the kicker with this is I took that information from Philippa and I turned it into, well, if our 150 odd clients that would come in every week, if we could even get 50 of them to have a $30 service, what would that be? It just ended up being more and more and more every week. And we just aim to grow that so we would have more than half of our clients having that add on or enhancement.
Well, let me pull my calculator up and work out what that would be.
Oh,
So it would be 150 clients divided by two, so 75 clients. So if you had 75 clients having a $33 treatment, that would be 2,000. Is that right? That can't be right. 75
well,
multiplied by 33, $2,475. And if you annualize that figure, um,
mhm.
times even 50 weeks of the year, it's
Mhm.
123,000, which you can buy a nice Mercedes with.
Well, we actually made 150,000 a year, and why and how we did it was we actually kept getting more and more clients to have it done. So the goal was that these add-on enhancements, clients would ring and then say, "Can I get that foot massage that you do with the treatment, or could I get the scalp massage, or could I get the hair treatment that you did last time?" So clients would talk the language, and I think any business can do with another 100,000, 50,000, 150,000, and all that's about doing is looking after the client and talking about the garlic bread in your business. And you can grow on that and you could change that enhancement and say there could be a winter enhancement, there could be a summer enhancements that change depending on what the hair, the skin, it might be that you do a lot of brows, or even if it's injectables, like what else does the client need? I think there's always something else.
Mm. I
Mm.
remember one of our beautiful past clients, Amanda Nestor. Um,
Hmm.
I remember having a session with her years
Yes.
ago, 5 or 6 years ago, and she sent her numbers through, which all of our clients do every week, so we can give them feedback. She sent her numbers through, and I thought, this idiot can't even count basic numbers. She looked after 100 clients that week as a salon, and she did
Mm.
120 treatments. And I'm like, you can't do more treatments than you got heads, right? Unless some of her clients have got two heads, which they didn't. And I said to her in the next session, I said, listen, you've ballsed up these numbers. You've got 100 clients in last week and 120 treatments. And she said, yeah, that's right. And I said, how's that right? And she said, because we've got treatments in our enhancement menu, on our treatment menu, that serve different purposes. So one treatment is like for the structure of the hair. It's a bonding treatment. And then other treatments are to give the hair shine and slip, makes the hair feel slippery and silky. So some of our clients have the bonding service, and then they have the hydrating treatment that gives their hair that shine and luster. So yeah, you can
Mm.
do more than one treatment on a client, and some clients can have up to three treatments. So they have the treatment in their color, the treatment
Mm.
on the basins, and then another treatment at the basins that gives their hair slip that you leave in.
Yeah,
So I
so
was
good.
like, I eat my words, but I haven't seen that
Yeah,
since. But
I have.
oh, have you? Good girl.
Yeah, I have. And I know a
It's
client that's even took it even to the next level where they
yep,
not only did a treatment in the color at the basin, but then sold the client the product as well. So we used to call
yeah,
that three times. If you could do it three times on a client, you're nailing it. And I think
yep,
your garlic bread is taken to another level. Like that's just like lifting it,
absolutely.
lifting it. And it's about looking after the integrity of the client's hair, skin, whatever it is. Like you can't do it all like in the salon, you've got to do it at home as well. So how do you do
Mm.
that? It's about sharing your knowledge, isn't it? And sharing it and taking it to that next level.
I remember an approach that I took with a client not too long ago. Um, she said one of her frustrations is that she'll have a skin client on a treatment plan, and that
Mm.
treatment plan is every 4 weeks they have a net skin needling and they must use these products very consistently for 6 months to get the result. It's really mapped out, and their job is to get their client to commit to that treatment plan. And she had one particular client that would get bored. So, what else could I use? Maybe I could have a peel next time. Maybe I could have laser. Maybe I could have this or that. And she'd have to say to the client, no, you need to stick to the plan we created because it's the best thing for your skin. So, her enhancement menu was just different things that changed the experience for the client. And I remember this one client saying, oh, we've got jelly masks or we've got the sheet masks, but it's not going to really enhance her skin that much. I said, but it's not about that. It's about the experience. So in a
Yeah.
hairdressing salon, you say to a client, did you have a treatment on your hair last time? They will say, yes, because I had that head massage. They don't remember the
Yeah.
benefit to their hair or to their skin. They remember how it
Mm.
made them feel. So even one of those jelly masks, the head massage while you're having a treatment, that can be the thing that the client's looking for that creates that little bit of variation in their service that makes them want to come back for more.
Yeah.
Mm.
I remember speaking to a massage therapist years ago, and she started a plan where she'd extend the time in the computer. And when you go for a massage, you're like exhausted, aren't you? Like you think, I need this massage. Like I feel tired. I'm so looking forward to it. You book in, and one of her conversations she would have with the client is, how about today? I know you booked in for an hour. Would you like an additional 15 minutes? And what we do is we can massage either your feet longer or we can cleanse your face and pop say it's nighttime, night cream on so that you're ready for bed when you get home. And that additional 15 minutes, let's just say it's $28, it's
Mm.
$28. How does that sound? So she would start marking the time out and she would add that in. Now, I think there's so many businesses that might be injectables and you think, well, I only allow this much time, or it might be hair, I only allow this time. So, but if you start that conversation and you start allowing the time, you would make the additional money as well. So there's a little bit of a catch with that. Do you do it with your whole team? Do you do it, straight up? I think test and measure it. Like start your garlic bread list. What is it? What does it look like? And how you can implement that into your business. And once you nail that, there's an additional 500 a week,
Mm.
1,000 a week, be 1,500 a week. So it's endless, really.
And I think one point that you made at the start of the episode is, we're often good at the big picture thinking. And we do. We want to be doing more of the skin needling and HIFU and hair extensions and balayage, but it's a completely different strategy to attract or convert a client to a high end skin treatment than I call it the may as well,
Mm.
which when a waitress comes up to you and says to you, um, would you like some garlic bread for the table? It's not a matter of yes or no. It's a matter of how many do we want. You know,
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer, isn't
exactly.
it? Yeah, you think, well, how big are they? I can
Mm.
have one myself. And I think that's what we're getting out of today is what are those little things that are $5, $10? And if you don't have something like that in your business, why not? Absolutely, why not? And
Mm.
I think
And
that
I
brings
think
us,
what.
sorry, cut you
Mm.
off, go for it.
No, no, I was just going to say, I think one of the things that to think about around this topic, and whether you think about Philippa with her garlic bread or the add-ons that you can implement, you might be stuck. That's what we're here for, is to help you with that process and put it together. Ask the question. But you know what? It's when you're stuck in business, whether you're stuck financially, you can't get off the floor, whatever the position you're stuck in, is what got you to this place isn't going to get you to the next place. So I think if just taking away thinking about how can you add this enhancement, this is going to help you get to the next place. It helped me, so it can help you as well. Yeah,
And I think
make that change.
that what we get to at the end of every episode is what's hot and what's not. And one of the things that I definitely think is hot is, and it almost pains me to say it, is good old fashioned marketing. 1992,
Yeah.
old fashioned marketing. Stop doing reels and TikToks. Yes, make that a part of your strategy and it's a lot of fun. But you got to get that bloody treatment menu out. You got to create an enhancement menu.
Mm,
You need to think about product of the month. Like, what
mm,
happened to that? We used to do that all the time back in 1423 in the salon, and for good reason. It bloody works. So that internal
mm,
marketing of looking, we've got 440 clients coming through the door every single month. What can we introduce them to with integrity? Because they have to have a benefit to what you're recommending. What can we recommend to them that enhances their experience, but also ups the spend so that your business is profitable? And that old fashioned
mm.
marketing has never stopped working. We've just lost interest. And that is so hot right now. Take the shine off the bright and
Yeah,
shiny
it comes back.
Instagram, and bring back that old fashioned marketing. Mm.
Couldn't agree more. And when we think about, that's hot, what's not? I think one of the things that's not is around, we talk about like lasers before we're ready, like putting in machinery, and we can see clients that have 5 and 6 pieces of machinery, not just particularly lasers, but just generally any piece of uh, equipment you have, and are you using it? Like there's so many things that we have in our businesses, and we see it, don't we, Jay? And you're like, are you even ready for this?
And that's the thing. Like, if you think about the garlic bread concept, um, your skill behind selling a garlic bread can be very basic and fundamental. Whereas to recommend a treatment that is $400 and performed by a $210,000 laser machine, it's a completely different skill set. So it's that idea of crawl before you walk. And like I see, if a clinic owner comes to me and says, I want to buy this $200,000 or $100,000 laser
Yeah.
machine, it's amazing. I don't doubt it's amazing. But girlfriend, you can't even sell sunscreen to a facial client. How on earth are you going to sell a $300 laser treatment? And I
Mm.
suppose the other the other comparison would be when clients that own hairdressing salons, they're struggling with treatments and recommending services and retail, but they want keratin smoothing. They want to do $2,500 virgin Russian bloody hair extensions, and I think it's it's a different stratosphere of skill to be able to recommend hair extensions if you feel bad or pushy recommending a treatment, isn't it? So yeah, I
Yeah,
couldn't agree
definitely.
more. Could not agree more. Mm, absolutely.
Mm. Great topic, big learnings from it. And I think implement this into your business, because it absolutely brings home the bacon. And that's what we want, is more revenue coming in and not having to search for more. Like you said, Jade, you can do lots lots of socials, and I feel like it's absolutely necessary. But the vanity measurement is there, but it could bring in more followers, but often it doesn't bring in more revenue. So I think about find the garlic bread in your money and absolutely nail it.
100%. You know what I'm doing now? I'm going to buy some cheap foil garlic bread.
Good.
All right.
Love it.
Thanks so much.
Enjoy that.
Will do. Alrighty. Thanks,
Thank
Marie. And
you.
make sure that you leave us a review. Make sure that you comment, share the love. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube if you prefer to watch. And we're also on Apple platforms. So make sure you give us a comment and throw us a review if you're loving our content. We'll see you in the next episode.